Welcome back to Investing and Trading Live. As always, my name is Josh Lilquist, and in the last segment, we talked about some different opportunities in the markets, especially with WWE changing up to the ticker symbol TKO, how to have consistent returns. But a lot of the news that's going on in the markets is a little contradicting here, and that's what confuses investors and traders. And that's why you need a strategy that's designed to have consistency in the markets. And that's what we're going to talk about on this segment here. But boy, Al, we had a lot of people texting into this investing class that we do here at the Academy. These classes, they're about 2 hours long, and we go through the different techniques and concepts that we talk about here on the show. But really, how to make smart investing decisions and do that confidently. So easily just to do that, just text the word investing to the number 210 right now for 2 seats for that investing class. That's local here. When you text that number in, we'll get you a text right back. It'll say, welcome to the show. And it'll have a link in there to schedule your own date. So don't forget to click the link, pick a date that works the best for you. We do these during the weekdays. We also have these on the weekends. That way you can get on your journey to smart and intelligent investing decisions. So Al, I want to talk about that consistency in the market. But here's another thing that's consistent that we see a lot of. And I don't know if it's a good thing or if it's a bad thing. And we have been having a lot of people coming into these classes, and we have long-time radio listeners. We've been doing the show for 7, 10, 12, I don't know how, 13, 14 years.
A lot of years.
It's been many, many years. We're probably one of the longest reigning shows on the radio waves here in the metro area. Now, they say, okay, I've been listening to the show for many, many years, and I finally decided to come into this class. And it's amazing because you never know what's going on in people's lives. You know, people's lives get in the way.
Sure.
They got things going on, families and everything. But unfortunately, people put their finances to the wayside for a football game or for Netflix or that movie or whatever that may be. But hopefully we can inspire people to take action, because you mentioned at the beginning of the show, there had been people coming in that they're now taking action after they had lost money in the markets. And that's why it's so key and imperative to have a strategy to be ahead of the market and being in a strategy before the market even turns. And that's where supply and demand comes into play. And that's what I want you to discuss a little bit, is first off, how to help people take action now. That's the first step. But how to make the right and intelligent investing decision to get in positions before markets turn and go up, or before markets turn and go down.
Yep. You know, people, I think, in general, have a tendency to not react to something until it has an impact on them. And in the financial markets, that impact is pain.
You hit the nail on the head there. People won't react until it impacts them.
So it's a lot easier to be prepared. You use that umbrella analogy a lot. If you're going to go out and there's a potential for rain or for a storm, you want to bring your umbrella with you, not have to try to go find one or buy one after the rain already has come down. And the same thing is true in the financial markets. It's easy to put things off. That's just kind of a human tendency. There's very few people, and we call them successful, that actually are able to take steps and move in the right direction before something negative happens. You know, and I think one of the themes I'm seeing with the people that are coming in that listen to us over the course of years, or maybe even came into a class years ago and didn't do anything, what they're saying is, at that time when I was listening to you guys, it just didn't seem like it was the right time. And you know what they're saying now? There never is a right time.
Yeah, you know,
and that's what they've found. They wish they had done something before, and they just use that not the right time as an excuse to not do anything.
It's funny you mentioned that, because, we've been doing this show for many, many years. And before, years ago, we didn't have the YouTube live stream that we do on the show here. But, by the way, listen to the YouTube and watch the YouTube. Just type in Josh Lilquist on YouTube and you can see the outtakes on the show. But that being said, they haven't seen the evolution of how much more handsome you've gotten either. They just realize, boy,
it gets better every day.
This
folks.
guy is just a handsome guy, and he must have been like that all the time. But I think you've been, over the course of years getting more handsome, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and you have an appointment with your eye doctor when? Yeah, it's
Where are you at?
yeah,
I can't see you.
coming up soon. Well, hey, you know what? Let me get back to this time thing
there
for a
you go.
minute. There's only two reasons. I think I mentioned this last week, but there's two reasons that people fail at something. Number one is that they never start, and then number two is that they quit. And the starting part, that's something that you have to decide on your own. You have to take that first step. But if your finances, if being financially secure, if being able to make decisions to do something, have the freedom to be able to do that because money isn't an issue, then why would you want to put that off? Why wait to do that or potentially do that down the road when you can do it now? The markets are probably the best thing that's ever been created for every person out there to have the potential to change their life.
Yep.
And by the markets, we're not just talking about the stock market, which most people are familiar with. That's the futures market, the Forex market, the options market. There are a number of different financial markets that are part of an overall financial market. And at the Online Trading Academy, people have access to education on all of those. I listen to a lot of things. I get a lot of emails from other financial organizations, just to kind of keep up with what's going on. And typically what we'll find is that one organization will just teach options and say, you don't want to trade futures or Forex, that's too risky. Another one will be teaching futures, and they'll say, you don't want to trade options or Forex, that's too risky. They have a limited view on what you should be doing. What we find is that a lot of people and a lot of the pros out there use multiple assets or find one that really is best suited for you. Wherever you are financially and wherever you want to be financially down the road, one of those assets might be right for you and it might be totally different for somebody else.
Yep.
And that's part of what we do is help you identify which asset and which strategy you should be using for you to achieve the goals that you want to achieve. And by those
Correct.
goals, I'm talking about dreaming. Don't just look at what you have and then let Wall Street tell you, well, based on average returns, this is what you'll have
Blah,
in the
blah, blah,
future.
blah, right?
Yeah, blah, blah, blah. You tell us what you want your life to look like, and then we can try to put together something that bridges the gap between where you are now and where you want to be.
Yep, it's
But
the right strategy that's designed for you, not anybody else.
Exactly. And that's part of the plan that we help you put together.
Yep, and you mentioned something a little bit ago. I want to actually alter a little bit. You mentioned people are looking to do different things to change their life, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say it a little bit differently because people are afraid of change. People want to improve their life. And think about that. If you're a person if you're listening, say you've been listening for many years, or maybe you're a first-time listener, by the way, thank you for stopping by. And if you want to improve your lifestyle, it might take a different approach, a different strategy.
Probably will.
Yep. And that's one of the things that we do here at the Academy is help people have strategies to improve their lives. And that's not just monetary either. It's about freedom of time, freedom of choice, the things that they want to be able to do. And that's one of the things that we really, people are inspiring to do. And to get started, it does take a little bit of action. And that's these investing classes that we do here at the Academy. Al teaches these, and he was just teaching a couple here this week. A lot of great people coming in. And these classes, they're getting packed, which is a good thing because then we're getting a lot of interaction, which is a lot of fun. So it's not just, us talking up there with a PowerPoint. There's interaction in there. And that's what the best way for us as adults to learn, especially in the financial markets. So simply text the word investing right now to the number 210-210. And this is for 2 seats for an investing class and a jumbo pack to help you get started right away. Text investing to the number 210-210 right now for 2 seats. Now, Al, there's a couple things I want to discuss here. I want to mention a couple things about, you mentioned you get emails and you don't use them for your investing decisions. You mentioned you just use them to see what's going on in the market.
Right.
And that's important to understand. Emails and all these new newsletters and stuff that comes out, they're not to help you make your investing decisions. It's just to help you understand what's happening in the world. And then where you make your investing decisions is on a price chart. Right. And I want to tell a little story about a weatherman. And weathermen are forecasting whether it's snow or rain, hopefully not a hurricane, but weather, tornadoes, things that could come up. So as a weatherman, they're forecasting and telling us as the public that, the people that are watching the news and listening to the news, maybe it's time to get an umbrella. Maybe it's time to get ready and prepare for a tornado and get your storm shelter ready. Make sure you have your cans of soup down there and all that stuff. Or maybe there's a hurricane. It's time to prepare and get some wood to cover up your windows and all that stuff. That's the same thing in the financial markets. We are actually a weatherman, and we're forecasting, okay, do we need to be prepared to have an umbrella for a rainstorm? Or do we need to be prepared for an up market? Do we need to be prepared for a down market? And then the strategy is the umbrella. Okay, now it's time to open that umbrella. Or in the markets, now it's time to buy, or now it's time to sell. So you're forecasting ahead of time what could happen, right? And then once you get the odds and probabilities, and the probabilities, you look in the sky, you see a gray sky, there's rain coming, or in the markets, you see supply or demand, that's telling you where you should be buying or selling. I want you to discuss that. Discuss supply and demand and why we're making our investing decisions right there. And we're going to have to probably finish that in the next segment, but just I want you to start what that concept is.
Right. Well, you mentioned being prepared. You need to be prepared for an up market. You need to be prepared for a down market, a sideways market. You need to be prepared for all three. You can't just choose one of the three and expect to do well. And the great thing about the way we teach and the way we have put together an investment strategy, and by the way, you should not be in markets if you don't have a strategy that you're using, but that strategy uses a basic rule, a financial rule that really can't be argued, and that's the relationship between supply and demand. Whatever it is you're looking at, if there's more demand for something, the price will go up. If there's more supply of something, price is going to go down. All you need to do is look at the buyers as the demand part and sellers as the supply part. If you can identify on a price chart where the buyers are and where the sellers are, you have the opportunity to be positioned to take advantage of any market direction. And when I'm talking about buyers or sellers, I'm not talking about if Josh and I pooled everything we own, that we bought shares of one stock, we couldn't, on a price chart, you would not see that movement. You wouldn't see
it
the
takes
impact.
Billions of dollars to move the market.
Yeah, and there are people like Warren Buffett who will put sometimes $10, $15 billion into one position. Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, if they buy shares of a stock, they're not going to buy 50 shares or 100 shares. They may buy maybe $50 million worth, $100 million worth, $1 billion worth, or sell that quantity, that volume or that value. That's enough to move price. And for us, with our core strategy, we have refined that, fine-tuned that to be able to identify where that activity takes place so you can trade right along with them. You can either listen to pundits and listen to companies that tell you how great their company is and how great they're going to do. And then oftentimes what you find is that those are words that are spoken to get people to make a movement in the market that might be not in their best interest.
What's that word you like to call it? Fluff?
Fluff. Yeah, I call it fluff.
There you go. Well, that's the great thing about that, Al, is there is a lot of fluff in the markets, and that's why you need to have a core strategy as what you're talking about. And that's actually the name of our strategy that we've had for over 26 years, and it evolves with the markets. So it's where to buy, where to sell, whether you're in an up market or a down market. So you are the weatherman forecasting what could happen and then how to prepare for whatever probability that it shows for you, whether you need to be buying in the markets or selling in the markets. And that's where you have your intelligent investing decisions. So we have these investing classes, and in these classes, we introduce you to these concepts, these techniques, the supply and demand method, which is our core strategy, how to minimize risk in the markets, have higher probabilities, higher odds, and then making those smart and intelligent investing decisions. So simply text the word investing to the number 210 right now for 2 seats for an investing class local at our academy. Text the word investing to the number 210 for 2 seats. When you do that, you're going to receive 2 seats plus the jumbo pack.
Oh, let's do the jumbo pack.
So make sure to pick up that jumbo pack when you come into these classes. Text investing to the number 210. Al, coming up next, I want to continue this discussion actually on supply and demand, how that works on a price chart. So, when you get your forecast, what could it do? How do you buy and how you sell, and how it's, I won't say easy, but how we can do it as a retail investor from home. This is Josh and Al. We will be right back.